Okay, so now we're having a look at liters with milliliters. So if I have the number 6.7 and I wrote it as 6.70, and then I wrote it as 6.700. If I'm looking at the 7, it's always in the tenths place. So no matter how many zeros I put behind, it's not changing the number. These equal signs still hold true, okay? But if I multiplied, now I'm going to multiply this number by 1,000, okay? What that's going to do is I have the 3 zeros there. I'm going to move that decimal 3 places. Okay, and then now this number is going to be 6,700. Okay, so it becomes a different number. And we're going to be using this shortly. So now I have 9. What I want you to do right now is look at these multiplication equations. I want you to do them, and I want you to compare, and I want you to see how they're the same and how they're different. And pause the video. Okay, so now I have 9 times 1, which is 9. Nothing changes. I have 0.009 and multiplied by 1, and everything stays the same. If I wrote 9 as 9.0 and I multiplied by 10, that decimal would move 1 place. Okay? And so what I'm doing is I'm just putting in that 0. Again, if I had 9.00, I'm moving that, I could say I'm moving that decimal through 2 places because of the zeros, or then we multiply, we can say that we're adding those 2 zeros because I've multiplied the 9 by the 1, the 9 by the 0, the 9 by the 0, right? And same here, 9 times 1,000 is 9,000. Okay, over here, just like we would, I'm saying that decimal really is moving. When I multiply by 10, I'm moving 1 place value. So to go from 1 place value to another, I multiply by 10. And that would be 0.9. Okay, so the place value, this is in the thousands. Now I'm in the hundreds. Now I'm going to multiply by 100, and I'm going to move 2 decimal places to the right. So now I have a 0.9. So notice that now I've moved 1 place value over from the hundreds to the tenths. And here I'm multiplying by 1,000. So 1, 2, 3, because I have the 3 zeros. And I'm moving my decimal behind the 9, so this just becomes 9. And he's moved from 9 from the tens place to the ones place. So how do we convert? So if we remember back between kilometers and meters, okay, so to change something from kilometers to meters, we multiply 1 kilometer by 1,000, and that would equal 1,000 meters. So 1 kilometer is actually equal to 1,000 meters. So if I'm going to convert, so say I had 3 kilometers and 456 meters, I would multiply 3 kilometers by 1,000, and that would equal to 3,000 meters, and then I would just add them together. So I'd have 3,000 meters plus 456 meters, and so that would equal 3,456 meters. Okay, the same would happen with liters when we're changing from liters to milliliters. We would multiply by 1,000. Okay, so, but because we're dealing with decimals, which is why we did decimals before this, we would move the decimal place 3 places. So I only have 2 places past the decimal here, so I have 0.12 liters. So it makes it easier if you put that place in there. So I add the 0 to the back. So I have 0.120 liters, and then I would multiply that by 1,000 milliliters, which would move that decimal 3 places. So I have 120 milliliters. Okay, so again, if I'm going to try to change this to milliliters, just pause the video, see if you can do it by yourself first. So the first step that I would do, 1.200 liters, and then, so I add those in there, then I would multiply by 1,000, and that would get me 3 decimal place shift, right? So I have 1,200 milliliters. Okay, try this one. Pause the video. So I already have 3 places past the decimal. I already have to the thousandths place. So I have 6.029 liters multiplied by 1,000 milliliters, which equals 3 decimal shifts. So that's 6.029 milliliters, 6,029 milliliters. Okay, so I'm just going to get you to try these ones by yourself. Again, this would be 3 kilometers, right? So the example here is 3 kilometers times 1,000, which would equal 3,000 meters, and then you just add those together, which is 3,000 meters times 4, 5, 6 meters, so that's 3,456 meters. Okay, so just give these a try and pause. So I have 2,000, I'm going to multiply that by 1,000, or 2 liters, multiply that by 1,000 is 2,000 milliliters, and now I'm going to go 3, 4, 5 milliliters and add them together. Okay, so this would be 2,345 milliliters. Okay, so I have 17 liters and then multiply by 1,000. So that would be, adding on those 3 zeros is 17000, right? 17,000. So I have 17,000. Making sure I stick with the right place value. And these are both milliliters now, so I can add them together. I have 17,067 milliliters. And then for this one, I have 4 times 1,000, so I have 4,000 milliliters. Making sure I put in the right place value, right? 67 milliliters, and I add them together, 4,067 milliliters. So in measurement in liters, such as 6.527, the whole part shows the liters, and the decimal part shows the milliliters. Okay, so if I wanted to just convert this, I could actually just say 6 liters and 527 milliliters, and that would be correct. So there's a couple problems on the sheet that are going to have you do those, but one thing that I just want to show you real quick. If I had 2.079, okay, I could write 2 liters, and I don't need to put the first 0 there. Okay, this is like writing 79 over 1,000. You know that it would equal 0.079 because that 9 is going to be in the thousandths place. Okay, it's the same thing. I don't have to write the 0.79 milliliters. That 0 doesn't need to be there. Okay, and it would automatically mean that that last number is in this thousandths place. So just give those a try. Now we're going to convert between, we're going to convert milliliters back to liters. Okay, and just using a mixed number as well. And if I know that, if I'm looking at 3,046 milliliters, okay, so back here, I knew that the 6 here is this, if I wanted to write this in milliliters only, I know that this is 6,527 milliliters because I'd multiply that whole thing by 1,000. Here, you would divide by 1,000. So you would take this decimal point and move it back 3 places. And so I would have 3 liters and 46 milliliters. Okay, so I could actually say a rule here, if I have thousands, the thousands becomes the liters, and anything in the tens, the ones, tens, and hundreds place becomes the milliliters. So if I was going to do 34,678 milliliters, I could go, you know what, 34 is the liters, so I have 34 liters and 678 milliliters.